Now, what does a typical unit of learning look like, right? We call this the circle of rigor, right? Affectionately, this is also called the circle of life for people who are in the program because they live on the program. The entire program is run on what we call Uplevel, which is our internal product. Uplevel is a tech product that ties everything together. You will sign on to Uplevel, your classes, your test sessions, everything will be on Uplevel. All your recordings are on Uplevel. This is what a typical week looks like, right? Now, you remember I said that we don't expect you to have deep proficiency in all of these areas because we understand that these are not things that you would learn, right? Either at university or your day job. That is why all top companies actually send out prep material for you to go through. Just think about that, right? As a company, I know that nobody is going to have this expertise because interview skills in many ways are different from your day job skills, right? And so what we do every week is we start with foundational videos. Now, these foundational videos typically will be about 4 hours, right? They will be released on a Thursday. They will start from absolute scratch, right? The foundational videos are taught by Omkar, who's our head of technical curriculum, right? Omkar is a very gifted teacher, right? He is able to take you with our research to help you understand how each of these areas developed historically, right? And because we teach foundational videos based on how a topic like, let's say, sorting developed over time, you're able to see the progression, right? Now, in sorting, for example, which is the first week of the coding program, there are about 10 algorithms. Merge sort, heap sort, quick sort, radix sort, external sort, transform sort, a bunch of others, right? These are the kind of things that we will introduce you to, starting from scratch, taking you up to a level of proficiency. Then you will enter the live class. Now, you will have 2 live classes every week, right? Class 1 is on a Sunday morning. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. EST. The live class will be with a hiring manager, one of the folks that you saw. On the career side, the live class will be with a technical recruiter, right? On the domain side, the live class will be with a hiring manager who has deep proficiency in that domain. When you do the leadership component for the engineering manager masterclass, the live class will be with the engineering manager or a director of engineering, right? Now, what happens in these live classes? The live classes build on what you have learned in the foundational videos. In these live classes, we introduce what we call our power patterns. If you remember, I said that there are about 17,000 interview questions. There is no way that one can practice or prepare for all of these 17,000 questions, also because there are constantly new questions and companies are incredibly smart, right? They know what questions are out there and they're constantly eliminating those from their interview process. So then how do you prepare? Because we've been doing this for 7 years, what we have done is we classify problems into categories. And based on the categories, we develop a power pattern that allows you to solve a whole bunch of questions, right, that form in question classes. And that is what we will teach in the live class. So to continue with the sorting example, there are 10 sorting algorithms. There are probably 300-400 sorting questions, but there are only 4 sorting power patterns: divide and conquer, decrease and conquer, transform and conquer, and brute force. We teach all of this to you in the class, right? So that you can then go and solve any sorting question that comes your way. And so that when you eventually make it to these strong tech teams, you can think algorithmically about sorting problems. The reason we started sorting is because sorting is a very good way to start typically the coding curriculum. Even when you're as a kid, the games that you will get, and any of you who have young kids, you will see that, the initial games that you get for kids are pretty much all sorting. The human mind thinks very well when it starts with sorting, right? Once you have done the live class, then we will pick a handful of questions that you should practice with over the coming week. Now, we will not give you 100 questions. We will probably give you 4 or 5 questions. And that is part of this process. We have picked these questions specifically to cement your learning, right? And this is why it is important to have an organized curriculum, right? Because everything builds and it ties in together and reinforces what you've learned. Every Thursday, you'll have your second live class. Now, the second live class is a 2-hour class. It is on Thursday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. In that class, you will have a test. The test is not a gating function, right? It's not that you have to pass the test. The idea of the test is to get you comfortable with time, right? We want to start introducing the next complex dimension of this process. One complex dimension is it's with people that you don't know. It is in topics that you don't know, but it's also time constrained, right? And so through this process, you have to get used to managing your time. Many of you, when you start and you practice problems, you might take an hour or two, sometimes more, to solve a problem that you will eventually solve in under 10 minutes. And that is important because in an interview, you will need to solve 2 very challenging questions in under 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, right? Typical interviews 1 hour, pleasantries 10-15 minutes, a warm-up, 45 minutes, 2 tough interview questions. I know it can sound very intimidating when you've not done it before and when you're taking an hour and a half, 2 hours, but it's totally possible. It is just a matter of practice. The time test every week serves this purpose, right? To get you comfortable with the time. You'll actually have a countdown timer, right, on the side, which builds up, right, your ability to work against the clock. And after you have done this test, a hiring manager will come on to the class and they will explain to you how they would solve this, through what power pattern, and they will also tell you how they would grade this in the interview process, right? Interviews are graded on a scale of 1 to 4. And so they will tell you what constitutes a 1, 2, 3, 4. Every week this is happening. And so you are building up, right? You're building up the muscle of how to get good at this process in a time-bound way. We realize, like I said, motivation is important. Access is also important. We realize that you might need help during the week, right? And so every day, there are multiple slots of what we call technical coaching. These are 1-to-1 or 1-to-few slots, again, done by actual hiring managers. At any point of time, guys,